por eso nomás somos 6 en la historia del boxeo.
We're only 6. It keeps me happy, very motivated to be one of the 6 undisputed champion of the world.
So there.
Hey, it's the Empire, Geoboxing Empire, Boxer Boxing. Now, man, you guys heard it, man, from my boy Canelo Alvarez, man. You guys can check the link in the description. It's by my boy Dante's Boxing Nation. And wild stuff, man. Canelo Alvarez, he's asked a question about how does it feel to be undisputed, and he says it's good. I feel proud to be one of the 6 undisputed champions, man. You guys see the list right here, man. Has everyone but Canelo Alvarez on this undisputed list, right? First undisputed champion with all 4 titles was Bernard Hopkins in 2004. Then it was Jermaine Taylor in 2005. Then it was the trendsetter, the one who started it all again in a new era, Terrence Bud Crawford, starting this undisputed trend. Then it was Alexander Usyk, Josh Taylor, and currently Canelo Alvarez. You know, really big deal stuff, man. You know, Canelo Alvarez, you know, this has been a good year for boxing. 2 undisputed champions in 1 year. It could have been 3, but we got a draw versus Castano versus Jamel Charlo. That all being said, man, you know, Teofimo Lopez was exposed, man, by Canelo Alvarez and Showtime. They did not give him the respect. They said that, listen, this guy's not undisputed, and they had a list of all the undisputed champions, and they did not have Teofimo Lopez on the list. What does that tell you? Well, that tells you that franchise title is not a legitimate title, and that no one's respecting it. The powers that be don't respect it, and Showtime and Canelo Alvarez doesn't respect or even acknowledge Teofimo Lopez. Right in front of his face, you guys see the list, and all those names are on the list. Canelo should be on that list, and Teofimo Lopez isn't there because he's not undisputed. Wild stuff, you know. I understand that, you know, a lot of people are trying to prop up Teofimo Lopez as undisputed because they really didn't want to see him fight a Devin the Dream Haney. You know, they kept trying to lock him out, freeze him out of the conversation. You know, a Devin the Dream Haney is the most ducked fighter at 135. The craziest stuff I've ever seen. Mandatories don't want to fight the guy. He had 2 mandatories that did not want to fight him, right? In the Ryan Garcia, who was the first mandatory after he beat Liam Walsh, I believe. Yeah, these Irish guys get so many Liams. And then Jojo Diaz, right? He is the current mandatory right now, and he's gonna finally fight Devin the Dream Haney. But he was trying to fight Ryan Garcia first. So these guys were doing everything in their power to get as many fights as possible before they fight the champion, because they didn't really care about being champion. They care about getting a check, because they basically know that their days are numbered, and if they fight Devin Haney, their chances of losing are high. They're extremely high. So that all being said, man, Teofimo Lopez had one good win against Vasyl Lomachenko, right? He beat Kome. That was a good fight for him. You know, he has some hard hitters on his record, but understand, you know, after he became quote unquote unified and had all his titles, he just fell off, man. He kept talking about how big he was and how much, you know, how many fans he got. But the truth of the matter is, you know, Teofimo Lopez is not getting the kind of money that Devin the Dream Haney is getting. Devin the Dream Haney has a bigger following, he gets paid more, and he's just a bigger dog than a Teofimo Lopez. And all being said, man, you know, Teofimo Lopez was getting backing by being undisputed when he really wasn't, and he got disrespected by Canelo Alvarez, man. Hopefully this is a wake-up call for Teofimo Lopez, and he, you know, he gets these fights popping, man. You know, he has a lot to do before calling himself undisputed. Understand that not only is, you know, this is one of the craziest divisions in boxing, in my opinion. The 135 division is a stacked division, but it's understood that the best fighters don't all have quote-unquote world titles. You know, Gervonta Tank Davis has a WBA regular title. It's right beneath the WBA super title. You know, so I guess he can become mandatory for Teofimo Lopez, but he was a former champion at 130. He had the IBF title and the WBA super title. So that all being said, Gervonta Tank Davis has been running around weight classes, getting titles left and right. So it's understood that Gervonta Tank Davis is an elite level fighter, right? Devin Dream Haney is a WBC champion, and you can call, like I said earlier, outside of the champions, there's fighters that people want to see Teofimo Lopez fight, right? I still want to see Teofimo Lopez fight a fellow Mexican rival or Latino rival, and Ryan Garcia, Jojo Diaz. These are elite level fighters that people want to see. You know, that's the division that has to be really cleaned out first, and that's a lot of work down there. There's a lot of big fights. There's no reason to really to go to 140 because Josh Taylor basically the undisputed 140 champion, clean that division out, right? there's just a lot of work to be done before he tries to move on, because honestly, the fighters at 135 are bigger names, at least, than the 140 fighters, right? So this is a really big deal for Teofimo Lopez, man. Hopefully he gets his mind right and these fights start getting made, because now that there's a real Latino Mexican undefeated champion, they have no need for Teofimo Lopez, and the charade of being undisputed it's been cut short. It's just been cut short. So I'm glad that Showtime called him out. I'm glad that Canelo called him out, because this guy Teofimo Lopez flew, from wherever he was all the way to Vegas he brought his titles to just, get a photo op with Canelo Alvarez talking about how he's undisputed like Canelo, and Canelo didn't even acknowledge him. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Showtime didn't acknowledge him either. They showed the list. Teo wasn't on there. Wild stuff, man. The balls of Teofimo Lopez to go on stage and to think that a foreign promotion company, Teofimo Lopez is not even with PBC or Showtime. He's not even with them. He's with Top Rank. He's with Top Rank. And, wild stuff, man. The guy is not even with his promotion company, and he thinks he's going to get promotion off them, for free. Wild stuff, man. The guy is living in La La Land. He thinks he's going to take photos with a foreign champion in a foreign company. Canelo Alvarez knows his place, man. He got big checks over here with Uncle Al Heyman. Al Heyman gave him this opportunity to become undisputed, and Canelo Alvarez is the first Mexican undisputed champion of all time. If Canelo Alvarez would have, said Teo was undisputed and played that game, the repercussions for Canelo Alvarez, you can only imagine him. You can only imagine him. That all being said, man, we're gonna see what happens with Teo's career. Top Rank is the king of keeping fights in-house, and understand that that's only gonna hurt Teofimo Lopez's career, because while he could say he's undisputed, he's not getting paid like it, and he doesn't have the clout like that. Devin the Dream Haney is extremely young. I think he's like 23, 24 years old, and the guy, the sky's the limit for him, because he has been being trained by Floyd Mayweather for a while, even when he was a kid, right? He has his own trainer, of course, but just the accolades of the guy, it was like a young prodigy, and this guy has been dominating elite level fighters who dropped the guys he beat, right? Understand that Teo beat Lomachenko, but he didn't drop him or anything like that. The ultimate win in boxing is stopping a guy. Teofimo Lopez beat Lomachenko, but he didn't make him no monster or anything like that. Devin the Dream Haney is completely dominating guys who dropped Vasyl Lomachenko and Jose Pedraza. Wild stuff, man. So we're gonna see how this whole thing plays out with Teofimo Lopez, man. Crazy stuff. I still can't believe he went on stage with Canelo Alvarez talking I'm undisputed, and then got embarrassed. The wildest stuff I've seen in years, man. Maybe this will stop in the sport of boxing with all these titles. The WBC has been known to protect fighters and make sell titles to protect these guys. So we're gonna see how this whole thing plays out with Teofimo Lopez. Who do you guys want to see him fight next, man? Maybe he needs an all-Mexican showdown. The guy that my boy Gervonta Tank Davis is gonna fight is a monster of a fighter, man. An undefeated Mexican superstar fighter. They call the guy Pitbull, man. The guy is a monster, man. If you guys don't know, Isaac Cruz, he's an animal, man. He's an animal. One of the better fighters at 135, undefeated. He's actually the #1 fighter out of Mexico, for real. Because Teofimo Lopez, his father is Mexican, and his mother's Honduras. So the guy's not really pure Mexican. You got straight guys straight from Mexico. Isaac Cruz is the best fighter. So everyone's mixing it up in the 135 division. Everyone's fighting everyone. Gervonta Tank Davis needs to fight a big dog. Now he has mandatories. He's gonna fight Gambosis next. But Gervonta Tank Davis fighting the #1 fighter out of Mexico, big deal. Devin the Dream Haney fighting his mandatory in Jojo Diaz. It's a long time coming. Teo and Gambosis, that's a mandatory, so he's gonna have to get that out of the way, but he's gonna have to fight these big dogs soon. Now I did hear Bob Arum talking about him fighting Gervonta. That's a big money fight, and if Teo's gonna take that L, you might as well have it done in the biggest payday possible. The biggest payday is most likely Gervonta, and then Devin Haney, in my opinion, because that's just more action packed. Somebody's getting stopped. Big facts. Let me know how you guys feel about Devin Haney getting dissed by Canelo Alvarez. Wild stuff. Let me know how you guys feel about it though. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire. GeoBoxing Empire. Peace. GeoBoxing Empire. Peace.